All right, good evening. The time is 6:01 p.m. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Ms. Terry, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Dalton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Merrick. Here. Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey.
Here.
Commissioner Holmes.
Here.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Okay.
Thank you. For today's invocation, please join me in a moment of silence to reverently collect our thoughts, pray, and ready ourselves for this meeting and the duties to which we have been called. Thank you. Now, Mr. Graham, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now I will my mayor's report. Welcome, everyone. The second annual Zombie Fun Run Festival and Brave Rave, hosted by Walnut Street Publishing and Be Caffeinated, will be happening on Saturday, September 12th at the Red Bank Community Center and Doxy Ridge Trails. The festival will be from 2 to 6 p.m. and will feature vendors, food trucks, zombie fun, and costumes. The Zombie Run will happen from 6 to 7 p.m. and the Grave Raid After Party will happen from 7 to 11 p.m. and will feature a DJ, local film screening, and food trucks. You can buy tickets to participate in the run, apply to be a vendor, or volunteer at walnutstreetpublishing.com. To save the date, this Saturday, August 22nd, we will be having our first food truck Saturday of the fall season from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. with music and food trucks and fun times with neighbors. Exciting news, in case you missed it, the Red Bank Taco Bell is back and bigger and better than ever. Equally exciting, the Hawthorne construction crew is beginning asbestos abatement procedures at the Save-A-Lot property this week. And once that is completed, they will begin demolishing and site prepping for construction of the apartment complex and new commercial spaces. This feels like this has taken 100 years to happen. I don't think it's quite been that long, but we're all very excited to finally have movement happening on that property. So thank you to Rice Partners and Hawthorne. Congratulations to Brian Haas on his recent election as Red Bank Judge. Judge Haas will serve out the remaining 4 years of Judge Johnny Houston's term, and he will be sworn in officially on September 14th. Thank you for being willing to serve, Brian. And also congratulations to District 6 County Commissioner David Sharp, District 6 School Board members Ben Connor on their re-elections. And on that note, it's still an election year. We have one more election this year on Tuesday, November the 3rd, for state and federal seats, as well as Red Bank City Commission seats. I won't go over all of the dates for early voting and things like that because there's some time, but just as a friendly reminder, you have until October 5th to make sure that your voter registration is current and updated to be able to vote in the November 3rd election. From our local schools, I hope that all of our students are having a wonderful time back at school and that our teachers are settling in. Commissioner Holmes is a teacher in one of our public schools. I hope that things are going okay for you so far. I want to give a special shout out to White Oak Bicycle Co-op for donating bike chains and helmets to Red Bank Elementary students who ride their bikes to school. What a great way to start out the year. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what they put on the social media page. So I apologize. Bike locks, even better. Bike locks and bike helmets to start out the school year. And moving from that, I'm sorry to say, I have a not so great note to share, and I will be speaking for a couple of minutes on this. So please bear with me. I heard from a dear friend and Red Bank neighbor yesterday that she was riding bikes with her 5-year-old and 2-year-old sons to her 5-year-old school bus stop, utilizing their neighborhood road. And not only did a woman in her car honk her horn at them to get out of the way, she came up on them again in the afternoon when my friend was riding bikes with her children back home from the bus stop, and the woman honked her horn at them again to get out of the way. And just last week, a man became irate when he could not pass my same friends on their bikes, again, on their neighborhood road, because another neighbor was out walking her dog on the other side of the road. So he had to wait for an opening, at which time he proceeded to speed past my friend and her 5- and 2-year-old sons on their bikes and threw his hands up at them, as if they had done something wrong by existing on the road. This is not new. This is unfortunately not uncommon. However, it is absolutely appalling and inexcusable behavior by adults who should know better and who should care more about their own neighbors, particularly children on bikes. It is also illegal. Tennessee Code Annotated 55-8-175 says vehicle drivers are legally required to leave 3 feet of distance between their vehicle and the cyclist when passing the cyclist. And if they are unable to do so, they must slow down until they can safely maintain that 3 feet of distance to pass. Sadly, this law appears to mean nothing to some vehicle drivers who only view non-vehicle users on the roadway as an inconvenience. Now, couple this with the fact that I just gave a shout out to Ride a Bicycle Co-op for donating bike safety items to Red Bank elementary students who ride their bikes to school on our roadways. And you can imagine why I'm upset. Vehicle drivers, you and me, we do not own the road. In fact, roads existed long before vehicles existed. Unfortunately, this country decided to develop cities around personal vehicles, so many of us have to utilize them today to access the things we need, but that does not mean vehicle drivers are more important. In our unanimously adopted mission and vision statements, we highlight how inclusive Red Bank is, how safe Red Bank is, and how we welcome all to our community. What that means is that cyclists and pedestrians and vehicle drivers and folks in wheelchairs and scooters and canes, pushing baby strollers and walking their dogs, on rollerblades and roller skates and skateboards, folks skipping, running, meandering, however they need or want to move through our city should be able to do that in a safe manner, especially on our shared roadways. I honestly cannot even believe I have to say any of these things out loud, but based on the threatening and dangerous attitudes and behaviors of some of our vehicle drivers, I felt compelled to speak out. Please do better, be better, love thy neighbor. Thank you. Now we have a report from Vice Mayor Berry.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for highlighting the need to share the road. Just a reminder to everyone that cars do not pay taxes. People pay taxes, and our neighborhood roads are maintained with our tax dollars. The road, especially neighborhood roads, are public realm that belong to each and every member of our community equally, not just people who happen to be driving a car at the moment. So please keep that in mind in your behavior. As the mayor mentioned, Food Truck Saturday, the first of the fall season, is this Saturday, August 22nd from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And mercifully, the forecasted high for that day is currently only 83 degrees. So hopefully, even though it's still August, it will not be unreasonably hot and we can all enjoy ourselves. And finally, the next Red Bank Community Food Pantry is this Thursday, August 20th, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at Red Bank United Baptist.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Next, we have a report from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in your commission meeting this evening and those far away. Congratulations, as the mayor has mentioned, to Brian Ross. I also want to thank Mayor Boschel and Emily O'Donnell for campaigning for that post. Red Bank High School football begins with an away contest in Ray County this Friday. I hope it's 83 degrees. I don't know about that. My son officiates football, and it's really, really hot, but it's August. Boy Buchanan will be the second contest, also away on August 28th, and the third game for Red Bank is away at Tyner across town, and then the fourth away game will be with East Ridge on the 11th. The first home game for our Red Bank Lions will be September 11th versus Bradley County. Every game starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I took the opportunity to purchase coffee and a scone one Saturday morning after a workout at the Morning Bee Bakery and Baglery. This gem of location is behind the Waffle House, and it is available on Wednesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 1. It's a delightful experience for breakfast. Next Listen and Learn will be held on Monday, September 21st at Mr. Burrito from 6 to 7. Community Development Director Leslie Slay will present an update on the capital improvement plan and answer residents' questions. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you. Next, we have our report from Commissioner Holmes.
Good evening. Thanks for watching online and being here in person if you are here. Please continue to check our website for information and updates. A lot of the presentations that we hear in work session are posted online after the meetings or before the meetings at some point. Also, shout out to White Oak Bicycle Co-op for donating a bike to one of my former students so that he could get to work each and every day. He lives on Shallowford, and there's no bus that comes there, so he uses the bike to get to work on the highway. Again, hope everyone's having a good start to the school year. Whether in kindergarten, starting 6th grade, 9th grade, or even college, it's in the school year, so hope that's going great. Please, as mentioned, watch for speed changes, and there's a new speed zone. It's around 7:30 in the morning, right near the Jacks and Walgreens. So be careful of speed changes and pedestrians and bike riders and everyone else on the road, as mentioned already. And also, please check out Red Bank businesses that are local. Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey just mentioned one. There are several others that are in our community that we should support. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have our report from Commissioner Holden.
Okay, thank you guys for being here. I'd like to echo what the mayor said about bike and pedestrian safety in our neighborhood streets, and emphasis on neighborhood streets. Yeah, I know the family well that she's referencing, and school is starting, and kids are walking or riding to bus stops. So as the season changes and they can start later, earlier, or whatever, pay attention. There are kids standing at intersections, waiting for the bus, trying to get to the bus, get to school, whatever. If you want to get through town quickly, 27 is an option. Dayton Boulevard is an option, but neighborhood streets should be treated accordingly. You know, kids on bikes, they could be your kids, my kids, your neighbor's kids, your grandkids. So take your time, take the extra 10 seconds and pass safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we have our city manager's report, Mr. Bannum.
Good evening, Mayor. Staff onboarded Judge Brian Haas. Yes, the election is not yet certified, but with him already serving as interim, it made sense to move forward. And part of that process is appropriately farewelling Judge Houston. And details regarding those plans will be shared as appropriate arrangements are made. Staff conducted our first commission candidate orientation earlier today for the first candidate to be approved by the Elections Commission, Mr. Chad Bullard, who's here with us this evening. And there are several other candidates in the room too who will be welcomed and oriented when their time comes. As candidates are approved, staff extended an invitation which we hope all candidates accept and join the executive leadership team for a great conversation regarding the essential municipal services delivered to this great city. Our community development director, Director Slay, will be attending Retail Live Nashville on Thursday, August 27th at the Lowe's Nashville Hotel at Vanderbilt Plaza. Retail Live is a focused commercial real estate networking event that brings together expanding retailers, developers, and other industry professionals. The Nashville event is expected to include more than 500 attendees and more than 100 retailers, providing an opportunity for communities and development professionals to connect directly with businesses that are actively evaluating new locations. As we continue to focus on strengthening our commercial base and encouraging quality investment, it's important that the city be proactive in developing relationships with the private sector rather than waiting for development opportunities to find us. To that end, staff have prepared a trifold brochure to hand out at the event. A copy is at each of your places on the dais. The goal is to position Red Bank for the right investments in the right locations with a focus on quality and community, consistent with our long-term vision and economic development initiatives. Thank you, Director Slay. Staff have finalized the arrangements for the city charter referendum to be on the ballot on the 3rd of November. Thank you, Director Perry and City Attorney Stoltz for the behind-the-scenes work to make that happen. Lastly, work continues to sell the former Red Bank sewage treatment plant, and you can anticipate a proposal for commission consideration at an upcoming commission meeting soon. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Graham. And we will now temporarily adjourn our regular meeting and call to order our beer board meeting. Ms. Perry, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Stephanie Dalton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Holly Baird.
Here.
Commissioner Jamie Fairbanks Hardy.
Here.
Commissioner Terry Holmes.
Here.
Commissioner Hayes Wilkinson.
I'm here.
All right, and our only item of business, Judge Schwanke doing business as Clever Ale House has applied to vend beer at the city-sponsored Food Truck Fridays, scheduled from August to November, located at the Red Bank City Park in 2026. Mr. Schwanke? Does this include Food Truck Saturdays as well? Yes?
Yes, yeah.
Does it need to specify that, Ms. Perry?
I don't know if it doesn't want, I always on Friday listed. Option to
Okay,
I think the dates were on there, I believe.
okay.
There was some dates.
Great, thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Plan to continue, yes, vending beer at our Food Truck Friday events?
Yeah. That is the plan, yeah, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, and I think on your application, you talked about how you would ID folks and put up
Yeah,
signs.
ID checks, wristbands, yeah, city provided signage and all of that stuff.
Fabulous. Any questions?
Will you continue to vend ice cream as well?
To be determined. We will see.
Okay, okay. Any other questions?
How can we get that maybe to a yes?
Anybody want to haul an ice cream freezer down there?
All right, thank you, Mr. Frank. Do I have a motion to approve? I have a motion from Commissioner Wilkinson. Do I have a second? Second from Vice Mayor Berry. Any further discussion? Any comments from the residents present? Okay, no comments. We'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, we'll go ahead and reconvene our regular meeting. Our first item of business is our consent agenda, which contains the August 4th, 2026 meeting minutes, an agreement to purchase real property located at 3800 Dayton Boulevard, authorization to close out the TDEC ARPA grant contract and adopt the stormwater asset management plan, authorization to apply for the property conservation grant through PEP, an amendment to our comprehensive fee schedule to reflect the update to our annual sanitation fee amount and additional sanitation can amount, authorization for the city manager and city attorney to initiate a fire truck antitrust litigation on behalf of the city, authorization to execute an MOU with Team Rubicon, acceptance of donated land from the Hill Point HOA for the field, as well as reimbursement to Trust for Public Land for their due diligence actions on behalf of the city. Are there any items that the board wants to move to the regular agenda for further discussion? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as published? I have a motion from Commissioner Holmes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Vice Mayor Berry. Any discussion? Any comments by the residents present? Okay, there are no comments. We'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, we have none. Moving to new business. Item A, ordinance number 26-1316, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee, establishing a temporary 12-month moratorium on the establishment of new vape retail businesses, cannabis shops, and cannabis dispensaries within the City of Red Bank. First reading. Director Slay.
Good evening. Thank
Good
you.
evening.
The ordinance before you is not about whether these businesses should or should not exist in Red Bank. The Purpose of the proposed moratorium is to give the city the necessary time to complete its Unified Development Code and establish clear, consistent, and appropriate land use regulations for these types of businesses, as our existing regulations were not written with many of today's emerging retail uses in mind. The city is currently undertaking a comprehensive rewrite of its land use regulations through the Unified Development Code process, which is currently underway. The UDC intends to bring our zoning and development regulations into alignment with the city's comprehensive plan and provide a more modern framework for future development. Vape shops, smoke shops, and cannabis-related retail uses present a good example of why that work is important. These uses can have characteristics that are different from traditional retail, including their hours of operation, proximity to residential areas, sensitive uses, signage, parking, clustering, and overall compatibility with surrounding development. Rather than establish regulations for these uses separately and potentially having to revisit them when the UDC is adopted, the proposed moratorium gives us an opportunity to address them as part of the larger regulatory framework. So what does the moratorium do? The proposed ordinance will temporarily pause the acceptance and processing of new applications. It is not intended to eliminate or retroactively prohibit businesses that are already legally established, nor does it affect those who have already established vested rights through the permitting process. What doesn't it do? This is not a permanent prohibition. It does not mean the city is saying these businesses can never operate here. It does not prevent the city from ultimately determining these certain uses may be appropriate in specific zoning districts. Instead, it creates a temporary pause for the city to determine where should these uses be allowed, under what conditions should they be allowed, what separation or buffering requirements may be appropriate, and most importantly, got lost. Oh, I'm sorry. How should these types fit within the city's long-term vision as established by the comprehensive plan recently adopted, and therefore direct connection to the Unified Development Code in progress. The UDC is being developed to create a consistent set of rules governing land use and development for all future uses. That process gives the city an opportunity to consider uses alongside other components of the development code, including zoning districts, permitted uses, conditional uses, site design, parking, signage, landscaping and buffering, compatibility with residential neighborhoods, as well as proximities to schools, parks, and other sensitive public places. So why act now? Currently, we have 4 established businesses of this type operating within the city limits, with 2 additional establishments currently in the permitting process. This makes the timing of the proposed moratorium particularly important. Without a temporary pause, additional applications could continue to move forward under regulations the city is actively working to update and/or replace. The purpose is not to prevent businesses that are already legally established from continuing to operate, nor is it intended to interfere with applications that have already acquired vested rights. Rather, the moratorium provides the city with the opportunity to pause new applications while determining how these should be incorporated into the UDC. The moratorium provides a bridge between the city's existing regulation framework and future framework currently being developed, allowing the city to address these uses proactively rather than reactively. The message that I would emphasize is this: staff is not asking to make a permanent decision about these businesses tonight. The moratorium simply ensures that staff has the opportunity to complete the work before additional applications for these specialized uses move forward under regulations that are being replaced. So the objective is simple: pause, plan, and regulate, then move forward. Thank you.
Director. A couple of things. One, just can you mention, when did we start working on the Unified Development Code? How long has that been in progress?
We onboarded our consultant in January. And this was also budgeted. It was discussed at the end when we adopted your comprehensive plan. In order to bridge those, we needed to update our land use regulations. So we did onboard and start in January. We recently reviewed, and those documents were submitted to you when we did an analysis of our current regulations to determine where are our gaps and how do we move forward. So yeah, we've been well underway since January. We anticipate having some drafts, I'm going to say late fall, is when we will start having public meetings and public engagements to reveal to the public what do we think a UDC is best for Red Bank.
Thank you. And then the second comment that I wanted to make was that there will be a public hearing at the second and final reading,
Yes.
correct? On
Yes, ma'am.
September 1st?
It's been scheduled for September 15th. We do have a
September 15th.
21-day,
Okay,
because this is zoning related.
Okay.
State law does require a 21-day public notification. So
okay,
to meet that parameter, 15th is when we schedule the second, the public hearing and before your second and final reading.
thank you for that. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
I have a motion from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Vice Mayor Barry. Any further discussion by the board?
I want to thank the community development department for putting this together. I know vape shops have been front of mind for a lot of Red Bank residents. I've heard from a lot of different people concerns about the number of vape shops opening. I'm of two minds because they're not, I won't say that it's a undesirable business or an unwanted business. They are providing, filling a valuable market gap in a way, because they are, well, for the most part, investing in properties that are otherwise remaining vacant. A lot of people are saying, I'd rather have a restaurant than a vape shop, or I'd rather have this than a vape shop, but, what we're seeing in reality is that that's not the dichotomy that is actually available to us. What we're seeing is an empty storefront or lease sign or a vape shop. And a lot of these properties are being invested in, improved, and renovated by these vape shop businesses in a way that other businesses are not willing or able to do. So, for example, the Food City Gas and Go location, that's sat vacant for years and years and years, completely unapproved. I mean, if you looked in the windows, the floor on the inside was gravel. It was unoccupiable without a build out. And the vape shop that's there now has completed that build out. And that's also, activating that property, improving that property values for property tax revenue. Commercials taxed at a higher, rate than residential properties are, so that's a bigger deal for commercial properties. Also, of course, generating sales tax revenue. So, the community is seeing the benefit from these businesses, but at the same time, I see the need to be responsive to the community about this concern, because for going on 6 vape shops, and we're only 6 square miles, so we're talking about a vape shop per square mile at this point, and possibly increasing if you weren't to pass a moratorium. And I appreciate your comment, Director, that this is not necessarily saying that we're not going to allow it ultimately, but it's giving us an opportunity to step back and take a look and see how we want to go forward with this in our Unified Development Code. That's very close upcoming this year, hopefully.
As a planning professional, a moratorium is a tool. It's not one that I recommend be used lightly. There really needs to be some justification and understanding before it is presented, because it pauses, it comes to rest. But given we are this deep into our UDC, we just feel things are just getting a little bit ahead of us, and this is one tool for that purpose. It's to slow things down, give us an opportunity to catch up. We're halfway there. Like I said, we're now more than 6 months into our UDC development. So we hope the draft and then the public engagement will pick up. That's what we anticipate. But again, using it as a tool that it's intended for. And also understand when you put the moratorium in place, at some point in time, we will come back and we'll lift it. It doesn't happen automatically, but it is the jurisdiction's responsibility to see that through, to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable to the timeline that we put in place.
The moratorium does not automatically expire in 12 months. We have to act to lift it.
We need to do something with it, correct?
And just out of lack of knowledge on this topic, you said it does not affect existing shops or already permitted shops. The one that I believe is going in near River City Physical Therapy on the south end of town near Ace, in the former nail salon.
Correct. They are permitted, yes, they do have a vested right.
And Red Bank Aluminum.
Yes.
Correct.
Already, so those are both already permitted, and this will not affect those locations.
Correct.
Thank you for the clarification.
And this is really, I mean, with what you're talking about, looking at what parameters we might need to put in place for businesses like this. We've done that before with other types of businesses, right? You set districts for certain types of businesses to be in areas that are, seem appropriate, match the needs of the community, and are responding to the desires of the community as well. Just for instance, that happened when I, first got elected, we had, some conversation about plasma centers, and where those would be appropriate to go. And so we found a zone that those were appropriate to be, included in. And so this is just an extension of that, but it's modernizing everything that we have. And like you said, combining everything into one
Right.
document, whereas right now they're kind of piecemeal in all these different
And I
places.
think a good example of the opposite spectrum is the desire for auxiliary dwelling units. We know that's a desire, but we don't have the parameters in place for how do we want to see that come to life. So it's quite the opposite, but it's the same vein. We just need the time to develop the UDC
Right.
so that it's clear, it's transparent. Everyone has an understanding of how, where, and when things can happen.
Yes, thank you so much. Any further discussion, by the board?
Well, hopefully, when you go next week to Retail Live, you'll lure some folks in that will bring in
Some different,
different sales tax base, yeah.
And I know that it's a little off topic, but one of the most valuable things I hope to come away from is to have a better understanding of what are their site specifics for certain retailers. It's one thing to say we want A, B, and C, but if we don't touch those and check off their own boxes, it's a moot point for us. So I'm hoping to get a better understanding of what retailers are looking for in those small footprints like what we have. Stay tuned.
All right, thank you.
I'm just interested in it. 6 is quite a many. There's that much going on. This is interesting. That's all.
In some cases, the market will take care of itself. That's just kind of how things work. We'll open it up for citizen comments and just on this topic. Yes. All right. Any other comments from commissioners? Questions from Director Slay? If not, now, do we have any comments from the residents present? If you do have a comment, you'll have to step forward to the podium and give your name and address for the record. And you can share that with Ms. Perry, our city reporter.
I'm Sharon Shedrick, 304 Signal View. And I just wanted to know, where are the two that are pending? One is gonna be at Red Bank Aluminum and the other one will be where?
It's going to be at the former LA Nail Salon across from the Citgo down on South State Boulevard.
The white building.
Yes,
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 okay,
ma'am.
thank you, that's all I wanted.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any further comments from the residents present? Okay, if there are no more comments, Ms. Perry, can you please call the vote?
Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barry,
Yes.
Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Yes.
Right, motion carries on first reading. As Director Slay said, we will have our public hearing and second and final reading at our September 15th regular meeting. Right? And moving on now to citizen comments from Red Bank citizens on items not on the agenda. Mr. Brandon.
Thank you, Mayor. This is time for citizen comments. Please observe these rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less, and the city recorder will operate a timer. If time expires, please respect her direction and conclude any comments. Comments should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to a particular commissioner or to city staff or to the audience. The commission is here to listen, not to respond or engage in back and forth, so please do not expect a reply during citizen comment. Citizens are now invited to the podium. Please begin by stating your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Isaiah Shedrick, my wife Sharon. And address, 304 Signal View Street.
Okay, this morning, upon getting ready to leave my home, we looked out the window and saw 2 policemen standing there at the end of the driveway. We're like, okay, what's going on? We know we just had a big cleanup and had a lot of boxes and things left out that the trash didn't pick up. So we're like, oh, we're gonna get fined for that stuff. But it happened to be that they were coming because a citizen had called to complain that we're parking on the streets. on our street. And we're the only family on our street that actually have been parking on the street since we lived there for 20 years. On the side of the street where we live, most of the people park in their front yard because they can't get to the backyard. And we're in the same situation. We have we live in a house that was owned by two houses that were owned by one family with one shared driveway. But the whole time we've lived there, someone else has owned the other house, and they have the biggest driveway and also a double garage. We only have one parking space back there, so we have to park the rest of our cars on the streets. And we learned also today that that's against the city ordinance that happened about 2 or 3 years ago, but we were unaware of that. But if we didn't park there, it's also against the ordinance to park in our front yard, which we don't want to do that. And we have no other alternatives or places to park our cars. So we just need some information about that. And I also have a solution, a suggestion of a solution. Maybe if we had people in our city that poured, what do you call it? That excavates and do driveways, maybe they would come up with some type of proposal for the citizens that are also in our shoes who don't have a driveway, who would like to have a driveway. And maybe they would give the residents of Red Bank some type of special deal where they would help us obtain that goal of getting a driveway. Because my husband and I have had several people to come out there excavate and that do driveways over the last 20 years. And the price starts at $16,000 to go up. And that's not something that we can actually like foot on our own. But I know we live in Red Bank. We love Red Bank, and we want it to look beautiful also. And we want our neighborhood, our street to look beautiful, but we cannot afford that from our pocket to pay $16,000. But if there was a special program, or maybe someone within our city would write a grant for the residents of Red Bank who wanted a driveway, maybe we can get some grant money and do some money of our own and make that dream come true. Because we're getting older. My time is up.
You're okay.
Okay, my husband and I are getting older, and we can't continue to park on the street. I mean, we don't want to continue that. And we also don't want to move from our home. And we don't want to move from Red Bank. So if there's something that the city could come up with, it's not really your problem, I know, but I think it's all of our problem, because it's not just us in the city that needs a solution to this issue. If maybe somebody could write a grant and help us out and help the other citizens out also, I think that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
What was your address
Oh,
again?
304 Signal View. So what can we do in the meanwhile? We still have to park on the street, so what if another?
We'll have you chat with Director Slade after
Okay.
the meeting, and she can get you some information, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Any further comments from the residents present?
Anna Wheeler, 427 Antelope Trail. In defense of this nice couple, you need to drive up and down the streets of Red Bank. There are more cars parked on the sides of the street than there are in driveways a lot of times. And there will be empty driveways and people still park on the side of the street. So my sympathies, I wish I could help. If I had a bulldozer, I'd come help you.
Thank you, Ms. Wheeler. Any further comments from the residents present? No further comments. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion from Commissioner Reese. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Wilkinson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.